Hey there guys, it's Rick Usler here with Modern Airgunner, and I know it's been a while since we posted a video, but we're ready to get back into it. I think we finally found our groove of what we want to do with this channel, and both myself and Airgun Angie, we're pretty excited to see what the future holds here for Modern Airgunner. Today we're going to be taking a look at a new product from Evanix. This is the Viper, this is the Viper semi-automatic pistol. We're going to talk about the features. I've got some crony numbers, some trigger pull numbers, DB numbers, all that kind of fun stuff. And we're also going to take a look at a little accuracy. We're going to be shooting today at 15 yards, which I know is not very far, but it's a pistol, guys, not a rifle. And so we're going to be kind of shooting at pistol ranges. So let's talk a little bit about the product in general. Yeah, it's a compact PCP pistol, and when you look at it, you think, gosh, that's going to be really heavy, and it does have some weight to it, but I didn't find it overly heavy. I think it's actually balanced really well, maybe because a lot of the weight is here and not so much here, although this looks pretty chunky. It's not as front heavy as I would have expected. It does fire semi-automatic, and it does work from the open bolt. So if we wanted to close the bolt, we could decock it like that. Safety is here. There's a hammer spring adjuster at the back. I haven't touched that, primarily because this is still pre-production prototype. It's pretty close to the final, but it is not the final. So some of the data we're going to be talking about today is what this gun can do, and I believe in my conversations with Evanix, they've actually done some improvements already. So this is not a barrel shroud. It kind of caught me off guard when I first looked at it. This is actually a secondary air chamber. This is your primary air chamber. This is your secondary air chamber. There is no noise suppression or moderation on this, although I'm really hoping that in the production model, or at least one of the versions, they'll have the barrel stick out a little bit, threaded with a nut so that it maintains the profile, but something you can add a moderator to. I think when we look at the DB numbers, I think you're going to see this, that's warranted. It fills with a Foster connector at the bottom, fills to 250 bar. One of the caveats with this is because it's semi-automatic and the valve is actually actuating the system. So when you fire, air drives the pellet, but it also pushes the hammer back and locks on the sear. If your pressure gets too low, it doesn't have enough power to actually lock the hammer back, and you'll get some bounce. If you've ever played paintball with a CO2 gun or CO2 marker, you'll know when you get near the end of your CO2, it'll burp. It'll go brrrr like that. This will do that if you get too low. So you want to make sure that you're staying above 150 bar, and then it cycles pretty much flawlessly. I have to say it's really done a good job. The other couple caveats you want to pay attention to is it really likes 18-1-3s. If you try and shoot lesser pellets, like lesser quality or less weight, like CrossFit Premiers or something like that, you may get some misfeeds, and I will probably guarantee you will get misfeeds. The most consistent ammo we have found, and we haven't tested like all the 22 stuff, but what we've been testing, the 18-1-3s, they're accurate and they cycle flawlessly. So that's what we're going to be shooting today. Is there something else down the line? Possibly, but we'll get to that, at some point. But right now we're just kind of doing our basic overview. So let's talk a little bit about shot count. I have some numbers here. If I'm looking at the numbers, let's see. Shot these over the crony a little bit earlier. So if you go from like 250 and you shoot 2 mags, which puts you just over 150, so you're still in the safe zone, you're gonna get those 14 shots. It's 2 7-shot mags. The extreme spread across 14 shots was not regulated, okay? So let's remember that. 58 feet per second and a standard deviation of 19. The first 7 shots are really good, and I have some numbers for that here as well. But the first 7 shots, you're going to be doing over 13 foot-pounds and much more consistent. So if I switch over to the first 7 shots, that extreme spread is only 16 feet per second. the standard deviation of 5, and we topped out at 13.85 foot-pounds. So almost 14 foot-pounds out of this little pistol. And, you know, people may say, that's not enough power, or I can't hunt with that, etc., etc. Yeah, talk to the folks over in the UK. They do a lot of shooting with 12 foot-pound guns and are extremely successful with it. So in the hands of the right person, the right shooter, the right person behind the trigger, not only is this a fun plinking air gun and fun to shoot in, you know, in a target gun, but I would absolutely take this out rabbit hunting, especially around here where oftentimes our shots are within 10 or 15 yards because the rabbits out here are kind of dumb and they don't know to run away yet. So I would absolutely take this hunting, no problem. I would like to see how the Hades run and see if they are as consistent, but believe me, the 1813s will do fine if you're taking small game. You don't have to have a hunting pellet to go hunting. So with all that said, there's a couple other things I want to talk about. One is trigger pull. I was shocked with the trigger on this because I've shot Evanix guns, semi-autos in the past. Triggers have been decent, but they've been pounds of pull. This is 15 ounces. So 15-ounce trigger pull in a semi-automatic pistol, frankly, I think it's impressive. The trigger is one of the nicest things on this, besides the fact that it seems very well built, semi-automatic, 22 caliber, etc., etc. The trigger is very, very good. DB, I'm pushing about 85 dB. Now, let me say this about DB. I have one meter that shows things really high, and I think it's off. I don't think it's accurate. I have an app on my phone that seems to show things lower. I'm in a weird environment. I'm at 4,600 feet, so I don't know how that affects, you know, perceived noise levels. So please take the dB numbers with a grain of salt. I'm not saying if you're at sea level, it's going to be 85.3 dB. It may be louder, it may be less, I don't know. Frame of reference, it's not that loud, but in front of the gun, like, it's got to pop. So I think if Evanix can do something that would allow for us to add a moderator, that's only going to be even more of a selling point for this gun. So we've talked shot count, chrony, DB, trigger pull. Now let's actually put it on some paper and see how it does. I may need to top this off. Let me see what I'm doing here. Yeah, I've got a couple shots off of this fill. So let me go top this off and I'll be right back and we'll do some shooting. Hold on. One of the beauties of this, given the fact that it is a relatively small air reservoir to join these two, boy, you could hand pump this without any problem. And it's not 4,000 PSI, it's 250 bar, which is 3,600. So definitely, I think, hand pump friendly if you got something like this and wanted to target shoot in your basement or target shoot in your backyard. We're ready. We're ready to go. I'm set up again at 15 yards to, well, that's your safety, so we'll put on safe. To cock the gun, you're going to pull back the slide and then slide that forward. You know, the idea that you're mounting your scope on that and it has a little bit of wiggle, not a fan of that, but I mean, it's a pistol, right? I mean, we're not shooting 100 yards and we're not trying to, it's not a 10-meter match pistol by any stretch. So let's do remember the point of it is semi-auto, decent power, fun, and let's see how accurate it is. All right, so once you've cocked the gun, it fires from the open bolt. So you're ready to roll. So we can flip this to fire. And my sight is still on. I'm running the Hawk. The model number on this is the MRD-5. So it's a very small reflex sight. It does have the sensor. So if you put the gun down, in so many minutes, it turns off, which is awesome. It's supposed to, although it hasn't worked flawlessly all the time, and it may be you have to pick it up within a certain period of time. But if it times out and you pick it up within some period of time, it actually comes right back, which is cool too. But it has been, you know, there have been times where it's been like days I haven't touched it and I have to turn the sight on. So obviously I must need to read the manual on that for sure. Okay, well, enough yammering. I'm going to go ahead and aim just dead center and see where I hit. A little high. Okay, so that's 7 shots. And what I would say is a pretty doggone respectable group, at least for my shooting. Let's see if I can get that down in the center. We'll do another 7 shots, and I am aiming dead center on that red. So if I'm going to come down a little bit, maybe aim right about there. Okay. Other than the one that got away from me, that's pretty good. And as you could see, I wasn't like waiting a long period of time with those shots. This thing can absolutely drive some pellets. It's so much fun. I think what I want to do now, we're going to wrap this video up, but I'm going to put up my steel target. And I've done this in another video. In fact, if you guys want to check out some of the coverage of this gun, be sure to check out our other channels. We've got Airgun Web, and we also have The Gateway to Airguns. Angie's going to be getting one of these from Evanix, and yeah, we'll be covering it for them. We'll be covering it there too. So anyway, let me go move my steel target into place, and well, I'll rip just as fast as I can pull the trigger and see if I can keep all of my shots on the steel. I'll have to top this off, load up the mag, and then we'll shoot and wrap this up. Be right back. We've got our other camera set up on that steel plate. It's about that big around. It's not terribly small, but we're going to try and shoot as fast as we can, so I'll take a bigger target. The mags are all metal, and they are coming out with a dual mag, which is pretty cool, so you can just kick it over. It'll load from the right side or the left side, and there's a little ball detent that kind of snaps it into place, which makes them really easy to use. Evanix does magazines pretty well, actually. They're usually all metal and work pretty reliably, at least the new ones. All right, just about done here. Gosh, it's a pretty day. All right, here we go. Throw that right in like that. Now the first one, I'm just going to try and shoot slowly, and then the second one, I'm going to go as fast as I can pull the trigger. So I'm on that steel plate. Here we go. All right. What's nice about shooting steel is you actually get a sense of the energy. Paper doesn't give you that, but that's hitting pretty good. I mean, 18.13 grain pellets, hitting a AR 500 steel plate, wiggling it a little bit. But yeah, I think this would be absolutely viable on small game. No problem at all, especially up close. All right, here we go. See if I can just rip it. All right. Yeah. And that is the Evanix Viper. Very, very cool product. Cannot wait for this to come out. So you guys keep your eyes open for it. Just a really cool pistol. Super excited to see this hit the market. It's gonna be a lot of fun for a lot of folks. And I've had a little bit of a glimpse of some of the adaptations that they're already working on with this. And yeah, this is just the starting point. I cannot wait till they bring out all the different pieces and parts that are going to make this like a whole shooting system. It's going to be very cool. Guys, that's going to be it here for Modern Airgunner. I hope you guys will like and subscribe and hit the notification button if you like this channel. Please do check out our other channels, Airgun Web and The Gateway to Airguns. Please check them out. And if you have suggestions on what kind of videos you want to see, well, let us know and we will try and work them in. This channel, for me and Angie, this is just a labor of love for the airgun world, talking about products that we absolutely love. We're not sponsored on any of this stuff. We're just out here having fun, guys. So that's going to be it. My name's Rick Utzer here for Modern Airgunner. Thanks for watching.